Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. If you are new here, what up? Well, if you're watching this video, you are probably new here. So welcome. This is my channel. I talk about mostly War Dragons things. Sometimes I do Among Us streams. Sometimes I sing. And other times I rap. I don't know. We don't really know what's going on here, but it's a fun time, and I hope that you stick around. So these are my top tips for new players starting out in the game. Level 1, level 30, level 50, anything between there. These are my tips for you. So let's go. Okay, so the very first thing that you are going to want to do when you hit level 7 and you are able to join a team, you want to find an active team. Now this means when you join the team, if no one has talked in the chat for 15, 20 hours, even I would say probably like 5 to 10, honestly. That means that they're not very active as a team, and you want to probably find a new one because you want people to be there to help you grow, to help you learn, to help you succeed. Because if they are not around, how are you going to ask for, hey guys, do you have some wood for me to level my towers? Do you have some food for me to level my dragons? Hey, can you help me in this war run? Those are the kind of things that you're going to want to look for when finding a team. If you are just starting out, there are a ton of Gold League teams, a ton of Platinum League teams that will take you, will help you, will teach you the ropes. I, unfortunately, in my very first team, did not have very good guidance, so I built out my base all the way, and it was not a fun time for me. I didn't have a breeding guide. I didn't know what I was doing, and no one on my team really helped me or told me. They weren't very active, and when I got on my second team, I realized how much I was missing because they really knew what they were doing. They helped me get my base back on track. They helped me get a breeding guide, and they helped me get started and know what I was doing. So I will forever be thankful to them for setting me straight. And they were super active, always online, always around for questions, answers, anything that I needed help with, they were there for. And that is what you want in a team. You want to make those connections. You want to feel like you can get online and say, hey guys, I need help with this, or I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? And you want to feel like it's a safe place that you can go and ask for help. There are so many dead teams in the game, in all honesty. You want to look for a team that has 50 out of 50 players, 40 out of 50 players, just something more on the full side. You don't want to look at a team with 5 players. That is probably one of my biggest tips for you. Find an active team. The next thing I can suggest is to build a short, strong base. Do not build a long base. There's no reason for you to max your base until you are well above level 5 or 600. It is better to have 5 to 10 max for your level and tier towers than to have a full base of halfway built towers. If you do that, you will just tickle dragons. You won't be able to kill them defended. They're going to laugh at your base. They are going to fly over you and just steamroll your base. So stay short, keep your base at around 3 islands. So you have your farms, and then you have 2 islands of 5 towers that you're going to want to max out, and don't go beyond that because you're going to end up getting weak. I personally ended up building my base all the way out when I first started, and I wish that someone had told me in the beginning, hey, don't do that, because my base is weak for my level because of it to an extent. I was able to fix it a lot with the merging and the tower transformation that we now have, but back then we didn't have that. So I was very weak for my level for a long time until I got it back on track. So definitely build a short, strong base, not a long base. That is one of the biggest tips that I can give for you in the game. The next thing you are going to want to do immediately is jump into a breeding guide. There are a ton online. The one I would recommend checking out is probably the most popular one in the game right now. It's Red's breeding guides. Honestly, you can Google them and they pop up. They have a cheap path if you're trying to run through the tiers really quickly. They have Red's Best, which is a path that gives you some of the stronger dragons on each tier. This, in turn, overall will save you so many tokens, so many mystic fragments, just so many breeding resources. Instead of breeding every single dragon in every single tier, you will only breed the ones that you need to move forward and progress in the game. My next tip for you is do not buy the Ember Stones. I know it is such a good dragon and you really, really want to level him up. He caps at orange tier. You cannot bring him any further beyond that. And orange tier is like the 5th or 6th tier in the game. So not very long. You have a bunch of discounts and breeding, so you will level past that so quickly and you will not be able to use him very long. There are a ton of dragons throughout the tiers that have Death Gaze type spells that you can utilize instead of Ember. Now, if you are hellbent and determined on getting Ember Stones, what you can do is buy a regular in-game pack that is the same price as the Ember Stone that you need, and you can message support and say, hey, the $5 blue stone pack, I bought a $5 pack, or a $5 elite, or whatever it is that you purchase. Send a support ticket and say, this is what I just purchased, and they will credit you the blue stone if you ask for it. And that is the way that I would do it if you really, really want the stone, because you get more from those packs than you do from the Ember Stone pack. So definitely do that if you really, really want the Ember Stones. Otherwise, there are a ton of dragons on the tiers that will give you Death Gazes. There are always the seasonal dragons that give you Death Gaze type spells. Honestly, it's really just a waste of your time and your money to invest in Ember other than like a quick cleanup dragon. The next suggestion or tip that I have is do not expect to get a seasonal mythic right out of the gate. They are well sought after, and for a reason. They are typically really, really strong, but unless you are, pushing level 150, I would not expect yourself to get one. The way to get them, though, is to save your chests, to save your rubies, and hoard them basically for a couple seasons, and then you will usually have enough resources by then to get one. And that's when people at around 150 end up getting their mythics, because they saved for so long. Now, there is always the option to throw a ton of money at the game to get the mythics, but it isn't a way that I really recommend, because once you level up and you get in a good team, it's relatively easier to get mythics nowadays. So I would just hold out unless it's something you absolutely, positively have to have. So yeah, don't expect to get a mythic until you're about 150 plus. The next tip I have is to plan your season. A lot of players will tell you to start one dragon line and finish it all the way through. But in all honesty, by the time you get to the end of that tier of that dragon, you probably won't be flying it anymore. I would just get, 4, 5, 6 stones ahead of the tier that you're at, and then spread your sigils on other things, especially if you want to move forward in the game. There are a ton of base boost options, tower options that you can get, and there are also riders. Now, the one thing I will tell you is if you want to go for a rider line, I would definitely finish it all the way through so that you get the max amount of boost from the rider. That is probably the only one that I would tell you to take all the way through right out of the gate, because it is probably one of the most beneficial things that you can do at your level to boost yourself, is to get a defensive rider, get an offensive rider. Those are two things that you're going to want to have. At this current moment in time, if you are in the Eclipse season, I would go for Venus. It is the highest HP rider in the game at the moment, and it is beautiful. So I would go for Venus at that point. Finish the line as far as you can. And if you do want to get a dragon, if you're in like green tier, I would probably just get it to Sapphire or Garnet, because by the time you reach the next tier, the next season, you probably won't be flying those dragons anymore. So take that with a grain of salt. If you really love a dragon, obviously get it all the way through if you think you're going to fly it forever. But those are my little tips. Another tip I have for you is do not be afraid to ask questions. That is the only way that you will learn. There are a ton of different places where you can go to ask questions. Obviously, your team should probably be the number one place that you go, but there is a forum for the game. It is a good place to get advice and ask questions. Do take that with a grain of salt, because there are a lot of people on the forums who are very pessimistic and not very nice. But there are also a ton of really, really amazing people who give great advice on the forums as well. There is a War Dragons Discord server. I always link it in my descriptions of my videos. It's called War Dragons United. It is a great place to ask questions. I also have a personal Discord server. You are welcome to join that and ask questions there as well. There is a Facebook group called War Dragons Addicts that is really, really big. You can join that. And there are a ton of groups online, a ton of groups in other chat groups that maybe American players don't really utilize. that maybe foreign players do. You can definitely join those. I don't really know a ton of those, but for sure I know there are Discord and Facebook and Line groups to help new players. Utilize them, ask questions, help yourself grow. And lastly, have fun. This is a game. Don't forget that. You are supposed to enjoy yourself. You are supposed to have fun. Do not stress yourself out and tire yourself out and burn yourself out trying to be the very, very best. Fly the dragons that you like. Be on a team that you love. Don't let other people take that away from you. You do not have to be extremely competitive if you don't want to. Everyone is allowed to play the game however they like and to fly whatever dragons they want. You will encounter hunter elitists, and invoker elitists and people that only fly those dragons because they are the very, very, very best. If you love sorcerers, fly them. If you love warriors, fly them. Don't let people take that away from you and kind of negatively influence you into flying what they prefer. If you are good with warriors or sorcerers, fly them. You don't have to fly what other people want you to fly. You don't have to leave your team to join a bigger, better, greater, more fabulous team. If you love your team and you enjoy your team, stay there. This is a game and you should enjoy it. You don't have to do what other people tell you. And that is one of the biggest tips that I can give you. Surround yourself with people that you enjoy being around, because at the end of the day, it's a team. You want to be in a team that you enjoy. If you do not enjoy your team, leave. Don't let people guilt trip you into staying in a team you don't want to be in. Don't let people guilt trip you into flying a dragon that they think sucks. Do what you want to do. And that is probably the biggest tip that I can give you in the whole game. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope that you continue to stick around. If you have any specific questions or want to know other tips, please let me know in the comments. You can always DM me on Discord or on Instagram or on Line. I forget how many places that you can bug me at this point. But yeah, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in my next video and in my Sunday stream. Have a beautiful day. Okay, bye.